Well, on the referendum campaign trail, immigration continues to loom large. The Leave campaign's proposals for an Australian-style skills-based point system would wreck the economy and may even put immigration up, according to Remain supporters. And so it goes on and on and on. But what's really happening here? Out of a total West Midlands population of 5.2 million, 199,000 are EU nationals. That's 3.5% of the population, with most coming from Eastern Europe. Well, our Hereford and Worcester political reporter Matthew Bone has been examining the real impact of EU migration here.
It doesn't look particularly crowded, does it? But even places like Herefordshire have seen big changes because of migration, and Leave campaigners say it's time to restrict who's allowed to come here.
Well, we'll have control of our borders, so we'll be able to decide. We can have an Australian-style point system. We'll be able to decide the quality of the people coming to settle in the United Kingdom.
At the moment, anyone from the EU can come here to work.
Zupki, sałatki są. Potrzebujemy tylko schabowe.
Kate Jankowska moved to Hereford from Poland in 2005. She's just opened the city's first Polish restaurant.
It's just because I know we've got so many Polish people around, and I would like to share the Polish food with English people as well.
But she's worried about how extra restrictions could affect her.
Don't ask me about that, because if I have to come back, of course I will be back to Poland. That will change everything. I just signed a contract for 5 years, so I don't know how that will look after the UK will leave the EU.
The last census showed that the population in Herefordshire is changing. Over 5,000 Eastern Europeans now live here. That's roughly 3% of the population. And the second most popular language is Polish.
Herefordshire's farms also welcome thousands of seasonal workers every year, but they often go home once the picking season is over.
I enjoy my country and I like to be there all the time, so I don't want to stay in UK.
So why do we need migrants to do these jobs?
Without our seasonal worker labour force, we'd have no business in Herefordshire or in horticulture in the UK. It's absolutely vital that we have these seasonal workers, because we just can't get the British people to come and pick our crops.
So were Britain to leave the EU, would we see more British workers doing these jobs?
No, I don't think it'll make any difference at all. We'd love to employ all British people, but there's no way that British people want this type of work.
So why is it so difficult to get British people to do these kind of jobs? Well, it's partly because this work isn't popular in Herefordshire, and partly because Herefordshire's getting older.
Nearly a quarter of Herefordshire's population is over 65, way above the national average. Also, the majority of EU migrants are young. More than half of them are aged between 20 and 40. So migrants can help balance out an ageing population.
I think it's very noticeable when you walk around Hereford and you see shops that sell Polish groceries and things like that. I think most people would say in Herefordshire, the effect has been very good actually. It's added some life and energy, it brings highly kind of purposeful young people. They have families, and although that does mean you have a requirement for translation initially in some schools to assist integration, actually they tend to work out very well.
When it comes to migrant workers, the Leave campaign will warn that too many cooks can spoil the broth. But Remainers say migrants are the secret ingredient that keeps Herefordshire's economy going. Expect these arguments to come to the boil over the next few weeks.
Matthew